Hey, gals and guys, this is Chris Mosier from MyMediaHelper.com, and I wanted to introduce this video. So many moons ago, I used to go to Star Trek conventions and comic book conventions, things of that nature. I don't really go too much anymore, just due to mostly COVID and also time, I guess. So I received a package in the mail from my ex-wife, and in that package was a DVD of two old conventions that I filmed on VHS many moons ago. We're talking the 1980s for Mr. James Doohan and Marina Sirtis, either the late 80s again or early 90s. I'm not really 100% sure what I'm going to be showing you here. I was in high school. I think it was my first year of high school in my second high school that in the second high school that I went to. So I think it was either it had to be 88 or 89 when this occurred, and around maybe the fall, I'm thinking, because my best friend's in this video and we didn't really become best friends until like 88, 89. Well, 88, and I think this is around that time period. So I just wanted to introduce that. I've met Mr. Doohan a couple other times. As I've got a picture right here of myself and my buddy I was just talking with a very elderly Mr. Doohan. Probably a few years before his passing, a couple, 2-3 years before his passing. This was actually in Las Vegas, where I get to meet this gentleman. That close this time. I saw him a couple other times. I saw him in Buffalo, where me and my buddy and some other friends were hanging out at the bar, and James Doohan was walking by, and we're saying, come on over and have a drink. And he actually was turning, he was quite elderly at this time too, and he was turning to come towards us, and his handler or whoever was taking care of him got him back to his path and away from the bar, but he was ready to join us. That was like around the 90s. But this particular convention that I'm going to show you is unedited. It's an old VHS. It's kind of a mess. I'm in the back row, and the camera's very wobbly. You can make out what he's saying, and you can make him out as well. And I just thought this would be something very cool to put online, something that's never been seen by anybody, something that's pretty fairly old. I mean, about what? It's 30 some years old, and I'm not sure if there's ever been any film of this released from this particular convention in Rochester, New York. So sorry for the long introduction. I just thought it was necessary, and with no further ado, let's watch the con.
Where did you transport? You didn't transport it with a suit. That would be inhuman. Where are they? Well, I gave them up any rooms. Where? I gave them to the Klingon, sir. You gave them to the Klingon? Thanks, sir. Just before they went in their war crime, I transported the whole kit and caboodle into their engine room. There'll be no trouble at all. He knows his lines by heart. I've forgotten mine. Oh, that's good. Thank you. It's a great pleasure. All right. Okay? All right, terrific. I'll put my script down now. So, you realize that I first came to Rochester in 1952? And nobody was here to greet me. You know? So I've been here longer than most of you have lived on this earth. Isn't that right? Okay. How many are at their first Star Trek convention? How many of, obviously, how many have never seen me in person before? Whoa, nearly the whole room. Wow. Hey, then we're in for a ball. We're going to have a good time. All right? Which, of course, if you don't have a good time, out. All right? So that's what you're supposed to do, is enjoy yourself here. And if you're taking a video tape of me, then I'll, if it's a good one, I'll pay $20 for it. Okay? Anyway, what we usually do is give you a few lessons in how to ask questions. Okay? And the first question that a lot of people ask me is that they look at the diagrams of the Enterprise and they finally come up with the solution that there are no toilets on the Enterprise. And what I don't understand is that 300 years from now, we have these gorgeous phasers which we set on disintegrate and then aim very carefully. The next question is, a lot of people ask, is how did I get the role of Scotty? Well, to cut a long story short, the 2 weeks before they were going to do the second pilot of Star Trek, I was sent by my agent to read for the part of a Scotland Yard inspector on a show called Burke's Law with Gene Barry in the lead. I read for them, did 3 or 4 different British accents for them, and I didn't get that job. Maybe if I'd done a French accent or something, I could have been. Who knows? Anyway, about 10 days later, the director of that, Jimmy Goldstone, called me and said, I'm directing the second pilot of Star Trek, and I would like you to come down and do some of your accents for them. I said, who are they? I had no idea. So, anyway, I said, okay. So I went down there and they handed me 1 page of the script which had no part for an engineer on there at all. And so I proceeded to do 7 or 8 different accents for them. And at the end, Gene Roddenberry said to me, he said, which accent do you like? I said, well, if he's going to be an engineer, he has to be a Scotsman. Because Scotsmen are famous engineers, and always have been, particularly mostly of ships. And there was always a Scotsman looking after the engine room, way back. So he said, well, we rather like that one too. I said, good. All right, then I'll name him Montgomery Scott, blah, 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 and I went on and on and on. And he didn't like anybody else that taking over there, so he says, oh, no, John, I hadn't even signed a contract yet, And there I am naming the character. And then, but anyway, I ended up playing the character, obviously, right? So, but supposing that when Captain Kirk calls down to engineering, that if they had some other accent as chief engineer, when Captain Kirk calls to engineering and says, give me warp 12, instead of hearing the familiar, Captain, my engines just can't take that. Instead of that, you hear the well business. Or you hear, yeah, Captain. Or you hear, well, Captain, I don't know, just maybe if I stroked the dilithium crystals a little bit, I might get a little action out of them. Warp 12, that's pretty high on the rating schedule there, well, I'll do my best, sir, if I don't have another nap. And anyway, or you might hear, Captain, you are playing with me, huh? And also I noticed that on the last planet you did not get the girl. You should have come to Lucky Pierre. Oh, you like that one, eh? Okay. Then there's, now I say, Captain, I've told you many times before, I don't like to go up over that wall pipe. Oh, that's an order. Well, all right. All we have. You be young, Kurt, eh? Well, sir, I'll see you hanging from the highest yard arm in Starfleet before I'll give you a warp 12. Or the best character that I would have loved to have done, and Scotty should have been this, would be Reggie, and he would answer the captain something like this: "I'm terribly sorry, sir, but I can't seem to get the little buggers to move very fast." Now you get the idea? But there's one more question that I want to give you the answer to. And that is, when people ask me, what would I do if I were captain? Well, the first thing that I would do would be to limit Ensign Kirk to one girl every 3 years. We would hire special writers for Uhura to give her some other line other than hailing frequencies open, sir. She deserves more than that. And she looks gorgeous in Star Trek V. Absolutely fabulous. All right. So, anyway, Sulu would never be allowed to carry arms. I know George very well. And if I ever went hunting with George, or you would find his shotgun right here all the time. Aimed at you. And George doesn't know it's there. He doesn't know you're there half the time. But anyway, that's, he knows I do this joke on him, and that's kind of fun. He laughs at it, you know. Never, you know.
Good. Guys, let's push the line over this way.
He's gonna rim job him. Why are you tongue in the line? Person interesting. Why are your tongue in the line? Lick each other's tongues. Nice one. Oh, lick that snot. Yeah. Beam is lick that snot. Hey, you bitch, I've knocked me picture. I'm gonna have to kick your bloody ass.
Close you. Close you.
It's drug trip. Especially when it's close. That's what the druggies are saying. Focused in beautifully, thank you. That's what the druggies are coming to the meet. I mean, sorry. Yeah, it's basically we're here with a bunch of fucking mutants. Idiots, weirdos, scumbags, and losers and geeks from all over the city. 38-year-old men who live in their parents' basements reading Star Trek novels. They have no job. They have no future. What should be done about this burning social issue? That's the focus in the next Dildaldo. I have an X through my head. Next on Ronaldo. Hey, if you speak a bunch of your freaking tell us they said them all. Should I say something in my head? Yeah, how are you doing? Can I use that stuff? Thank you. Hi. How are you? Hello, love. Sure I will. For you, I'm doing it. Just don't tell her that. Thank you very much. Hi there. How you doing? Really good. Thank you, sir. All right, thank you. All right.